I believe that if we could have stable electricity, at least the minimum, a lot of people in Africa will be able to do things. They'll be able to connect to the grid. They'll be able to do a lot of things.
That is very true. If we had stable electricity, we'll be able to solve a lot of things, or we'll be able to connect to more people and talk to more people more consistently, right? Because I've seen a couple of pitch rooms where somebody has to drop off because their network goes off because the lights go out or something, right? So I think that's the first thing that we should look at tackling, right? We should look at solving that on the private side. Once again, on the private side, we look at solving that, and that way we have should I say more consistent control over it, because it's not based on somebody's political agenda, right? On the private side, if you try to solve that problem, then you go to the next step, which is networking, right? Internet accessibility, improving the networking availability around the continent. Then you go to the next step, right? So step by step, we'll get there. But then we'll start with energy currently. Like I said, we're working a team that's solving the solar problem. We're trying to sort out the solar problem. So we're taking an actual action to make that problem happen. Because once again, if I see somebody who's willing to complain about it, I'll look for a way to try and solve it for them. So yes, you've brought up energy a lot today. So we'll work with the people who are in the energy space and try to solve that problem. With regards to out of all the knowledge that's available, right? Once we solve that problem, what we need to think about in Africa is identity, right? Because the identity problem is also a very big issue here. The idea that you can't trade on the continent, or you can't trust something that's produced by a company that's based on the continent, right? Somebody would rather go to the market and go and buy something from China or something than to buy an African-made product. And because of that, it causes this weird chain reaction where now these people have to pay so much to produce fewer products. So now they have to price it so high because they don't have the economy of scale, right? So people are like, oh my God, African products are so expensive, African stuff is so expensive. It's because they don't have that kind of scale to move enough articles to make it cheaper, right? So how do you call it? When it comes to these kind of things, right, that identity setup, I look again to the east, right, to Singapore, to China, to Japan. But China and Japan started producing cars and those kind of things, and South Korea as well. When they started producing cars and those kind of things, people use China as a term for something that means low quality in Africa. And people are like, oh, this is China. I mean, it's not high quality. You have to go in for something that's German made, or that's Spanish made, or something that's European standard, something that's Dutch made, some Dutch ovens, German knives, and all those kind of things, right? But right now, everybody's realizing that, okay, no, the quality of the Chinese stuff is going up, the quality of the Japanese stuff is going up, because they had that self-identity. They believed in the fact that if we kept trying, right, if we kept working at it, we'll get better, we'll get good enough to be able to sell to people. And now they're selling to us. They're selling to us. And they're selling to us and we're consuming. So we have to have that self-identity that I'm going to buy from these African people. I'm going to buy from this African team or this African group, right? And the African people too have to have that self-identity. The producers, I mean, they have to have that self-identity, that the identity that looks, I'm producing so that long-term my continent can have so and so and so. If I price my goods so highly today, people will stop buying, right? I can choose between pricing my goods at a competitive price with the foreign stuff and people continuing to buy and seeing the value and then transitioning forward. Or I can price my goods so high just because I want to make ends meet and then lose my market entirely because people will just say that, oh no, this is too expensive, I'm buying it, right? So they should also have that perspective and realize that, okay, no, we're trying to solve that problem of African trade on the continent, right? 14% is so weird for a continent that produces so much raw material. 14%.
You know why we're putting my hand here? It look a little bit stretched though. Let me show you.
Yeah.
This car is made in Nigeria. This is Inosun car. Now, the question is that if maybe, for example, we have a government, just like maybe, for example, in the US, where the government try to promote their products so that it can sell, so that they can give job to the people, because it's a loop, no? What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
If you empower the local industry, the more local people will have more money, and they will even pay more tax. I'm really in support of what you're saying, that we need to patronize the local industry. It's very important.
And it comes from that it comes from that self-image to start with. That's okay, I'm African. These are my roots, right? I need to stop thinking about the fact that everybody else, this thing is better than ours, right? And it needs to come from that self-image, that self-belief. If we stop to think about the fact that, oh, I have to leave Africa, I have to leave this place, or I have to go and do this, I have to go and buy this, and start thinking, okay, if I don't appreciate what I have, somebody else will come and appreciate it for me, right? When we keep leaving the rural areas and all those kind of things, the Chinese guys come here and they go straight there for the raw material. In Ghana, I've seen it so many times. They go straight there and go for the gold and all those kind of things. And we are leaving the country, right? So if we start to realize that, okay, no, wait, hold up. Why do we keep leaving, and why do these guys keep coming? Why are these guys, what are they coming to look for here? What haven't we seen here that they've seen wherever they are? If we realize that, and we realize that self-image, that self-identity, if we find that self-belief, we'll be able to break that barrier a bit sooner. If we don't, and we keep relying on, private people with their private motivation, finding it in themselves to push through, we'll not always have another Kwame Nkrumah. We'll not always have another, great visionary leader who just pushes through everything. We need to start doing something on our own as well. We need to start something small.
Thank you so much for that. All right, now coming back to AI and data again, how do you think it can benefit more companies? Tell me about the potential of AI and data analysis in African economy. Please help me with that.
Okay. So when we talk about AI in data collection, right, once again, when I see people complain about a problem, I'm thinking about how do I solve this? Or how do I get this done? Or how do I get this available for them? So what we decided, what we realized was that you need to pair with other things to collect data, like IoT and like the blockchain. When people think about blockchain, they think about cryptocurrency, think about trading money and all those kind of things. That's not the first idea we should be thinking about when it comes to blockchain in Africa, because to begin with, you don't have data. Right. So if there's this tech tool, why don't you be thinking about ways to use it to get that data secured on the continent? So that's what we decided to think about, right? So we're partnering with a couple of firms to set up a data chain, a data link on the continent. So basically, you should be able to hop into this data link and be able to spot all the information that you're looking for as an investor, as a startup, and as an entrepreneur. Right? If I want to start manufacturing chips in batteries, lithium-ion batteries, right? Where can I find lithium on the continent? If I hop onto this data link, I should find that, okay, these 5 places have lithium-ion on the continent, right? So if I want to sort it, this place has the people who can mine it for me. This place doesn't have the people who can mine it for me, so I have to bring my own guys. This place has a school that can produce those kind of people, but they've not started producing it yet. So maybe I can go and partner with that school that's, look, I believe in this place, I believe in the school. This is what I want us to do, right? So basically, once I find that information out, another reason why I decided to partner with the chiefs is the chiefs are custodians of this kind of information. So once I find that information out, the next step is to work directly with the chiefs, so that whatever you're sourcing from their place benefits them as well. You can't just come and mine stuff and then take it away, and then the local people lose everything, right? So in that one scenario, we see that AI partnering with the blockchain, partnering with the data analytics side of things, and then partnering with people, partnering with nature, right? So basically, you see that it's not just about the AI in its own corner, just sorting out things and giving you information of what exists, right? As an entrepreneur, as an African startup, right? It will give you this information, but then you have to go and talk to the chiefs. You work together with the elders, right? Okay, the elders will tell you that, look, you can come and mine what you want to mine here. But at the end of the day, I want you to employ my people because unemployment is high, right? I want to employ my people to help with your thing. Even if it's a cleaning company that is close by that can come and clean the office spaces and the industry spaces at the time, that's fine. Even if it's any kind of thing, right? That can help employ people in a local place to work together with you. And then, how do you call it? If you want to also partner with the school over there to help produce the people who can work directly in your factory, so that you have African talent working in your engineering side of things, you can do that. So we give you all those options with that. As the AI will give you the data, the raw information, but we give you all those options on the human level as well. So that it's not just robotic. Now you just hop onto this and then you just start clicking things, and you found a source of lithium or whatever, and you go straight and start mining it. And then people in the area lose everything, because mining activities affect farmland. It affects a lot of things, right? You have to think around ways of doing it and not overdoing it, not hurting nature. Because nature will bite back. I can't stress on this enough. Nature will always bite. Nature will always find a way to bite back and balance things out. So we have to think about, we've thought about that synergy. That system is something that will be coming out on top of another big piece, big gateway piece. And once that gateway piece comes out, that's when we will start being more public-based, or a more public-based firm. Like I said, from the beginning, we desire to be more industry-based. We talk directly to who we want to work with, because it's easier for us and we don't have to do too much marketing. But then once we handle that data level, then we'll become more public-based, because we want to make this information available to students. From the very beginning, you should start. It's in Africa that you see a lot of people going to school just to go and get employed by somebody, right? From the very educational level, you should start thinking about, okay, what is something I can try doing after I'm out of school? Maybe not everybody can start their own business. Maybe not everybody can be their own entrepreneur. But then if you have a hit rate of 1 out of 9 or 1 out of 50, we're golden, right? We'll do a lot of things. So that's what we're trying to motivate, right? We're trying to cultivate, right? The more information you make available to the people, the more likely you have people get inspired. Because if lithium doesn't inspire you, silicon might inspire you, titanium might inspire you, gold might inspire you, something else might inspire you.